Hello everybody, it is Tanya Atomic, and today I'm going to be doing a first impression review of the Pure Times Trolls World Tour Techno palette. Now personally, I'm not a non-fan of trolls, I just was never into them. My experience with trolls were when I was a kid, there was like this big resurgence of troll dolls in the 80s, and kids would have them and play with their hair because the hair would like stand up and you could like twirl them and make their hair stand up more, and pull their hair apart or whatever, and then get their hair to stand back up again. And that was kind of the thing, was the hair. And I remember that it was like a retro kind of toy that was a throwback, because kids would sometimes bring their mom's toys from the 60s or 70s with them to school, or they would talk about how their parents had the Trolls dolls. So they were considered sort of like a resurgence of an old retro toy. So I remember that. And then I also was a bingo player for a little while. And I remember people having troll dolls as their luck charms. Some of the people playing bingo would have little tchotchkes and what have you that they would bring and put on their table and set all out a certain way for luck as they played bingo. And sometimes they would like touch them or kiss certain ones or have this like sort of ritual. So that was my other experience with troll dolls. I've never seen any of the Trolls movies, but I do remember that this came out, the Trolls World Tour. The reason why I got this palette, it is cruelty-free and vegan, and that's one reason. And another reason is the color scheme. The color scheme are these like seaweedy color. This is a sea mermaidy palette. There's like teals, blues, browns, shimmery colors, and really kind of seaweedy green colors, and I like those colors together. It sort of reminds me of the 60s. It sort of reminds me of the ocean and mermaids and things, and I thought it looked really, really cool. I've never seen a palette like that with these particular colors. Let me just show you what it looks like. So first of all, it comes in this little paper cover, and it is holographic. It's really cute. And the circle has like a little bit of a, not an indentation, but a, sort of has a texture to it. It pops up a little bit in the circle, and it tells you a little bit about it in the back here. It is glitter and happiness in the Trolls universe, and this palette inspired by DreamWorks Trolls World Tour, and this unique travel-friendly palette. And it does have the names of the colors back here. And this is the palette Techno. And it has the names on the back of the actual palette here as well. And the top is sort of a soft plastic, like a rubbery, I mean, it's a hard soft, if that makes sense. Like, it's not a super hard plastic, but it's kind of like a hard rubbery. And when I first got this, it was super, super sticky, so that was kind of gross. I was afraid that cat hair, because I have two cats, I was afraid that cat hair would stick on it or other stuff. But after a couple days, it calmed down, and it's just kind of nice now. And it has a pretty blue reflective cover, this rubbery stuff on top, and it opens up here, has a mirror, and it has this protector that says Techno music is life, Pure Times Trolls World Tour. And here's all the colors. Forgive me for it not looking pristine, but I have already used it. But I think it's so beautiful. I love this color scheme. Like I said, it reminds me of sort of like 60s office colors, or yeah, like a 60s den or office. And I just love these colors together, this color scheme, and I think it looks great. I'm going to show you how I did this right after I swatch. I'm going to do swatches for you. So let's go ahead and swatch. We're going to do It's Electric, which is this greeny, like a chartreusey, lime greeny, like a seaweedy color. And this color I use in my crease. It's really pretty, and it's very blendable and very buildable too. And then we're gonna go ahead, let's go around clockwise. So we're gonna go to Underwater Harmony, which is this, oh, it actually, like, careful when you stick your finger in it. It's very, like, not creamy, but it wants to stick together, sticky, you know. Anyway, here we go. And that is a beautiful shimmery teal. Then we have Drop the Beat, which is this sort of like a deep yellowy browny, I don't know, like a deep mustard, but it has that seaweed vibe and a little bit of a coppery vibe. And then we have this brown here, which is called King Trolex. This is a deep brown matte. There's that. So then next we have this color right here, which is a deep shimmery, well, a deep matte teal. And this is called Peace and Love. And then we have, very lastly, we have this middle color, which is this brilliantly shimmery, like purpley blue, reddy, crazy shimmery color. It's really pretty. It's called Mermaid Tails. So yeah, it's a purpley blue, shimmery, shifting color. And that is really pretty. And those are all the colors. I think they are super, super gorgeous. I didn't have any problems with any of the colors except the brown kind of, I don't know, kind of fades. Let's see if I can get it to do it. See, like if you kind of blend it, it kind of blends away a little bit. Especially for being a deep brown like that, it's sort of a surprise, but it's not horrible. It's not a bad shadow. I mean, by any means, I've had bad shadows that do kind of blend away. Cheap shadows that blend away when touched, when you just blend them with a brush. And this is definitely not that. It just does blend away a little bit more than the other colors, but I still think it looks good. So I'm not complaining. I do really like this palette, and I'm going to show you the look next. So I have my eyes primed with Nomad Cosmetics Eye Primer. And I am going to go right in with this like green color here. It's Electric, is what it's called. I'm gonna go in the crease with that. It applies nicely with a really soft wash of color. I'm gonna see if I can build it up and make it any brighter. And I definitely can. I can see a big difference with that. So, and when I do my makeup, I tend to start either in the crease with a crease color that I then either deepen or raise or whatever, and keeping everything sort of round. And then I'll do my lid last because that is because I want the lid color to be on the top. And I'm actually going to go higher with this green, but lighter. So as it goes out from the crease, it gradually gets lighter and lighter. I want to say that this color is really, really easy to blend out. And it's easy to keep the shape that I have in mind with this color. It doesn't go where I don't want it to, really. And I'm sure the primer helps a little bit with that, but yeah, the color itself stays where I put it and blends really nicely. I like that a lot so far. Okay, now I'm going to use this brown to deepen up this outside, which I think is a good look for me. And I go straight out because of my hooded eyes. It makes a nicer shape. I'm actually going to go back in with this brush, but not any additional product, just the remaining little bit of green that's on there. And I'm going to go ahead and blend this out. And while blending out the brown color, it did blend away a bit, and you can see the green underneath, making it a little bit patchy. But I did go in several times with the green, and this was only once with the brown, so I'm going to add a little more. And the brown color is called King Trolex. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just blend the edges together. And that's working a little bit better. Okay, and now on the lid, I'm going to go with this middle color, Mermaid Tails, because it is so gorgeous looking. I'm going to go in first with the brush just to see how it performs with the brush. Okay, it's a little lackluster. Let me use my finger. Okay, that's a huge difference, if you can see that. That is a huge, huge, huge difference. Okay, I'm going to use the brush just to get in the corners here. And blend it a little bit in the middle, but if you can see, because I have hooded eyes, blending it in the middle is not a big problem or not a big concern of mine. Because what's going to happen is the hooded area is going to lay right on top, and then that's going to transfer. But it'll look a little bit nicer if I do this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this light blue, which is Underwater Harmony, this light blue here, and I'm going to kind of stamp it on the bottom, the inside portion, and a little bit of inner corner. I think I'm actually going to backtrack a little bit. Let me clean off this brush. I'm going to backtrack a little bit and actually go under on the lower lash line with Peace and Love, which is this teal color, and I'm going to go under the whole area here. And I'm going to go in with this Underwater Harmony for the inner corner. And I am going to just take a clean brush and smudge out this lower line here. Now I have to say, even as I'm working on this, the brown has faded a little bit. So I think it still looks okay. I'm just looking very, very critically at it, and the brown has faded slightly. It's not too big of a deal because it still creates the depth that I want on the sides there, and it's not, I don't necessarily need like striking brown, but at the same time it has faded a little bit. So about the staying powder, About the staying power of this color, I'm not sure. But so far everything else looks okay. And I really want to use this last color, but I don't know how to do it except by it's a little bit of a darker color. I'll just put a little teeny bit on the lid here, coming in from here and going up. And that's a little bit lost in my lid if I just do it in the crease. So I'm going to do it at the very front of the lid here. It adds a little bit more of that like seaweedy, greeny, mermaidy color. I'm gonna take a little bit more of this and smudge it here. Okay, I'm gonna finish this up and be right back. Okay, I am back. I did put Get Paid in my waterline. It's a ColourPop gel liner in sort of a copper, like a light copper. I'm not a really big waterline person because I don't like the feel of it. But I figured that this would be a good contrast, and why not? I also don't always do the underneath lower lash line, but I wanted to show a lot of the colors. So I usually do that when I do a first impression because I want to see how the colors all work together. And I'm actually getting more used to it. I'm liking it more because of the color contrast that you can do that way. So what do I think about this Pure times Troll World Tour little Techno colored palette? I love the color scheme. I absolutely love the color scheme. I like the real shimmery colors, and I like the mattes, except for some reason the brown, I think it still looks good, and it deepened up, but for some reason it does want to fade more. And it got it to where it isn't looking patchy at all, but I did have to do more than one layer, and I don't know how long lasting it is. I mean, this is just a first impression, so I would have to wear it for a while and see how long lasting it is. I did add a little white on the top under the brow because I like how that looks. I feel like as far as like a whole palette, it's kind of missing any highlight colors. There aren't any really light colors, but you know, a lot of people who would probably, if you were going to pick this up, you probably have other palettes. This probably wouldn't ever be like your only palette because of the color scheme. So it is an unusual color scheme, and that is why I like it. But I don't think, for me anyway, that it's a standalone palette. I could see, you know, if you wanted to do like a all monochromatic look, this being a standalone palette, but for how I like to have some lighter highlighting colors, this doesn't really have that, but that's okay. You know, overall, I did really like this. I like the packaging. It's really cute, and I would say, who would I recommend this for? I would recommend this for people like me who see this color scheme and just, it calls to you. I would say that is really who it's for. There are several other palettes in this line, and if you are a big fan of Trolls or a big fan of the movie, then I could see getting it. I mean, the packaging is really cute. It's pretty good. You know, it's pretty good, and it's an affordable palette. So I would say it is worth it. I just don't think it's a must-have. I don't feel like this is a standalone palette. I don't know if the other ones would be or not. But for me, it's a must-have because I love these colors together. So that's why I enjoy this, and that's why I had to have this. What are your thoughts on Trolls? Were you ever into Trolls? Are you a bingo player? tell me all about it in the comments below. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, or some of my other videos even. I have different playlists. And yeah, that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching.